Hey. Welcome to Midlife with the Chance of Magic by Healing is the New Sexy. It's your girl, Sandra, at I Am Sandy Freddy on IG. And this is my bi-weekly podcast where I share short personal stories and reflections dedicated to helping you embrace the messiness of midlife, the transitions, the questions, and those, is this a crisis moments, as opportunities to become the woman you were meant to be, reinvent yourself in a way that feels true to you, and boldly step into your next chapter with a little less mayhem and all of the magic. So let's do this. What happens when you start to outgrow the career you once dreamed of? That's the question I've been sitting with for years, and after mountains of student loan debt, no less. I never thought I'd be in my 40s, mid-career as a lawyer, trying to pivot. But here we are. I'm a whole beginner again, cultivating a new professional identity and working towards building a soul-aligned business in real time. I realize I could no longer shrink myself to fit a version of success I simply don't believe in anymore. It took me a while to get here. I carried so much shame around the fact that I didn't have my heart in practicing law anymore. I didn't even know what I wanted to do instead. All I knew was, this isn't it. And for a long time, I was afraid to admit that to anyone. I was scared to say it out loud. Would I be seen as lazy, ungrateful, unmotivated? Did I even deserve to be among my peers when I didn't share the same enthusiasm they did? I questioned my own audacity to want more, as if I didn't have the right to change my mind. Worse, I believed there might not be anything better out there for me. Spoiler alert, that couldn't be any further from the truth. As high achievers, we can be so consumed by ambition that it robs us of actualizing our full potential and seeing what's truly possible for our lives. Let's be honest. How many times have you dragged yourself out of bed on a Monday, dreading the week ahead? I already know. You sip your coffee, open your laptop, and wonder, is this really it? It's not just the Zoom fatigue or the sense of being on a hamster wheel. It's the gnawing realization that something essential is missing. Here's what I know now. The cost of hustle culture is steep. The price? A slow, excruciating breaking of your soul. And I don't want to work anymore. At least not in the way I used to. It's not because I'm lazy or unmotivated. It's because I'm waking up to a deeper truth. Work, as we've known it, often suppresses the best parts of who we are. Being creative is part of life. It's who we are at our core, and the soul is the wellspring of that creativity. When our creativity is stifled, our soul lets us know. We've called it burnout, but burnout is the symptom, not the cause. It's the alarm bell showing up as stress, insomnia, overwhelm, or even illness. The body definitely keeps the score. I remember I had a face full of hormonal acne at one point that persisted for well over a year. It was completely not the usual with my skin, yet it never occurred to me that my breakouts were correlated to the stress and overwhelm in my life at the time. Something I learned only after every test I was given showed I was fine, but my persistent questioning of the accuracy of the results prompted the endocrinologist to finally ask me what was going on in my life. And that's when I broke down in her office. We've normalized sitting in our discomfort in silence. We push through it. We don't stop to ask, what is this pain trying to tell me? This isn't about hating your job or needing a vacation. It's about the suffocation that happens when you're trapped in a system that only rewards performance and productivity. When the part of you meant to create, innovate, and contribute becomes detached, the life you secretly long for starts to feel like a distant fantasy. But here's the truth. You don't need another degree or a 5-year plan to change. All you need is curiosity, patience, and an open mind. The deeper I've gone into understanding who I truly am, the more I reject the idea that life is just about working, paying bills, and dying. My soul craves so much more. Gone are the days of the girl boss hustle. Our second act demands something richer, more meaning, more impact, more fulfillment. Things no traditional job title could ever satisfy. I saw a quote recently that said, "I have an intolerance for a life that doesn't sparkle." It stopped me in my tracks. It made me realize how much of our work and the energy behind it shapes our lives. It should light us up. It should sparkle. But by mid-career, especially after we've invested so much into our education and professional identity, we tell ourselves it's too late to change. We're too old, too invested, too far gone. Let me be the first to say, a mid-career pivot is not easy, but it is possible. A friend recently texted me about her desire to step into her creative identity professionally without worrying about the outcome or the income. And it got me thinking, what is it that really holds us back from pursuing a different path? And here's what I came up with. Fear of failure, resistance to being a beginner again, and a belief that a pivot equals permanent financial setback. These are the lies that keep us stuck. The path may not always be clear. It may seem illogical to the outside world, but it will make every bit of sense to you and to your soul. You have to give yourself permission to explore that. As someone slowly tiptoeing into the path of entrepreneurship, here's what's become true for me. Purposeful work feels like freedom. Creative work feels like magic. And letting go of the system we were taught to thrive in feels like rebellion. I'll be honest, I don't have this podcast or the full creative vision God's leading me toward all figured out. But I know one thing. It's all intended for me to be of service to humanity. And I'll make a greater impact through alignment than I ever could by staying on a path that no longer fits. My pivot out of law has been slow and intentional. I still practice, just non-traditionally, to create space for what's next. Because what I've learned is, life rewards us when we lean into our creative gifts. So if your soul has been whispering for something more, start here. What's one thing you could do for hours and feel energized, not drained? What skills or passions do people often compliment you on or come to you for? And if fear or money weren't a factor, what kind of work would you actually pursue? We don't need to overhaul our lives overnight, but we do need to make space, reimagine what's possible, reconnect with what lights us up. What may not make sense to the world will always make sense to your soul. So trust it, follow it, and may we all find the courage to embrace work that truly sparkles, because purpose work is magical, not logical. And that's it. Thank you so much for listening to Midlife with a Chance of Magic by Healing is the New Sexy. If you enjoyed this episode, let your girl know. Hit that follow button, drop me a comment, and leave a review. And if you're looking for more tools, tips, and bestie big sis style guidance to help you reinvent yourself in your life, follow at Midlife with a Chance of Magic pod on social and subscribe to the newsletter at midlifewithachanceofmagic.com. Until next time, take care and keep becoming.